Hey, I like the upset picks. I like the overtimes picks, but I just got one question for y'all. Who on Houston's roster is going to cover Jordan Tyson?
Good question.
Yeah, that's my
Uh,
only qualm with all of that.
you might as well just put a safety like 30 yards deep and just tell him that he
Just double him.
covers.
I mean, yeah, you could double him. Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah, I think it really comes down to it's not necessarily about covering him; it's about game planning around him. I do think that there are definitely things that Houston can do to minimize the impact and keep Arizona State from being able to go back to him every single time. Um, I mean, look, Arizona State has had some issues in the past with being able to take full advantage of that. So, I mean, yeah, I don't. It's a difficult one to pick for sure. I don't know. I just feel like Arizona State is at the point now where they've been getting advantage in those 50-50 calls that have really been going their way for the vast majority of the season so far. It feels like it's time. It's gonna run out at some point. The question is, does it run out here, or does it run out in the next few weeks?
yeah. Hey, yes. Arizona State and BYU both potentially on upset alert this week. There you have it. Okay, let's look ahead to Colorado at Utah, the nightcap of the evening. Utah, a 13.5 point favorite at home. I think Utah is very clearly the better team between these two. I do think Utah wins this game and a bounce back after BYU. But let me say this, I've not been overly impressed with Devin Dampier this season. Am I wrong in thinking that, boys?
because he's
No.
buns.
Yeah.
I called it at the beginning of the season that Devin Dampier is going to be average.
Yeah, he has looked average. Yeah.
Here's the thing, though. Colorado, to be honest, I think has been worse, and I honestly don't know how they've won 3 games so far.
Hey, listen, we had a lot of injuries, and honestly, our defense could. I mean, our defense could
Oh
make
yeah,
like
no,
an
but that's
FCS
also
quarterback
one
look good.
but that's also one that now that I'm remembering that, like, that's one that they shouldn't.
Defensive pass
There was
interference.
there were some issues
That's
with
some
calls in
bullshit.
that one as well.
Yeah.
So,
Not a fan of Big 12 refs that week.
Any
but
week,
but I
any
mean
week.
that feels like it's
These
the only way
refs are
Colorado stays in this game is by the refs helping them out, because Utah
please.
is clearly the better team. Their defense is so much better
Their
than
defense,
anything
their offensive
Colorado throws
line.
out
My
there.
gosh.
Yeah.
Right?
This is
Must
one
be
that
nice
should
having
be
an O
over.
line.
Like, this is one that could probably be like 10-0 at halftime and feel like it's over because Colorado shouldn't really be able to do anything offensively.
It's also,
Yeah,
but isn't
Utah's
it? Am I
defense
wrong
is
in
still
saying
pretty good.
this is kind of a rivalry game? It's kind of a semi-rivalry game.
Kind of. I mean, they both came from the Pac-12, so yeah, it's
Yeah.
as close to a rivalry game as you're going to get because they both came into the Pac-12 together. But I don't think it's anywhere near most of the rivalries that we see in the Big 12 these days.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I don't think that Utah would even consider Colorado a rival. I think that they would probably consider, obviously, like BYU and probably the Arizona schools more of a rival. I mean, hell, they probably consider TCU more of a rival than they
Yeah.
do Colorado.
Historically, sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I don't know. This game does not move me at all. I think Utah definitely covers this thing as much as I would love Colorado to put up a fight. But I mean,
Yeah, I'm all
you
for
get lucky.
huge upsets. Like, I love to see upsets. That's kind of my favorite thing about college football is that we see so many of them. But
I would love this one to be an upset, Andy.
yeah, no, this one would be great, but I just don't think it's going to even be close.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. Well, we said this one might be a rivalry, but there ain't no doubt that this next game's a rivalry. It's the game of the week, people. There it is right there. Jayhawks and Wildcats. Kansas State at Kansas. Kansas is a 2-point favorite, 2.5-point favorite at home for the 11 a.m. game. They have not beaten Kansas State since 2008. And every year I keep saying, this is the year. This is the year that Kansas does it. Andy, I'm going to tell you this. If Kansas does not do it this year, it might never happen.
Preaching to the choir. Preaching to the choir. Look, I've been the same way. It's like every year I talk myself into thinking that it's going to be the year that it happens, and it just hasn't happened. So, yeah, no, I agree. This has to be the year that it happens, because if it doesn't, then I'm a little worried.
Right. Well, so Brownie, give your third party yet still Kansas State hating perspective on this game.
Oh, I would absolutely love to. First of all, Mr. Daniels is more of a quarterback than Avery Johnson ever will be,
Sure.
which is not saying a lot, but it's something.
I was going to say, that's a pretty low bar.
I know. I think that this one is definitely interesting in the fact where, Kansas State started off really in a dark place, right? And to be honest, a lot of their fan base is still having that Ireland hangover to where anything that goes wrong, they're still blaming Ireland for it. Like, listen, man, we have been in the United States for now 2 months. Like, you can figure it out. Like, and if you haven't figured it out by now, then you need to start looking at your coaching. And to be fair, there is a small murmur of Kansas State fans that want to move on from Kleiman, which I think is absolutely absurd. But I think it's more of them wanting to lock in Colin Klein before anybody else does, because they saw him go to Tamu for big old bag. But it's Sunflower. You're going to expect something crazy. You're going to expect something wild. I think Kansas actually gives them a really good run for their money, and I think that they actually pull it out this year, just because I'm not convinced that this K-State team is deserving of those 3 wins, believe it or not. Like, I don't
Well, we
think
gift wrapped one of
they're
them.
good. Yeah. I don't think that they should be a 2-2 Big 12 team. I think they should honestly be an 0-4 Big 12 team.
Yeah, again, that game against TCU, I think, told me so much more about TCU than it did about K-State.
Yeah.
K-State has been very fortunate with the way that a lot of games have kind of run out for them. Yeah,
They
I mean,
didn't
this
even
is
look
just
that good against UCF.
no,
No.
and that's the thing. Like, yeah, they barely. I mean, they have not looked good all year long. This is a Kansas team,
And those were both home games too.
You're right, exactly.
Yeah.
But I mean, this is a Kansas team that now for the last 2 years, honestly, those are probably games that they should have won. And 1 or 2 things just goes complete. Actually, I guess 3 years in a row, you could almost say, where one thing just goes absolutely horribly wrong that completely changed the complexion of the game very early, and Kansas almost came back to win it and just wasn't able to finish it off. Like 2 years ago when Kansas was in Lawrence, they had kind of the whole tip drill. There was a couple interceptions that would have sealed the game for them, and they weren't able to get those pulled in. I think just Kansas is a team that has been on the cusp for so long. This honestly feels to me, if you go back to November 5th of 2005, when Kansas finally broke the streak against Nebraska and just murdered them, and then 2 years later murdered them by even more. But they just completely demolished Nebraska in this game. It was a game where a lot of people were like, hey, Kansas might actually be good enough to beat Nebraska this year. Nobody expected them to win by 4 scores. I think that this is a similar situation where Kansas is finally going to get off the schneid here, and I don't think it's going to be particularly close because everything is coming together where this is a Kansas State team that is struggling. They do not have the special teams that they're used to having. Their defense has very significant issues, and Kansas, I mean, kind of to your point, Kansas has by far the best player on the field in Jalen Daniels. The real question is just going to be, can the Kansas defense stop Avery Johnson from doing anything? I think that's a very real possibility. And Kansas State doesn't have the kind of run game that can take advantage of the issues that the Jayhawks have in the defensive running game there. So yeah, I mean, look, I'm not going to go out and say that I expect Kansas to win, 52-17 or anything like that. But would I be shocked if that happened? No.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I think it also helps that Jalen Daniels has obviously been in this position multiple times now.
Yep.
And last year, sorry, Andy, for bringing this torture back up to you. I mean, Daniels single-handedly lost that game last year. Like, he fumbled to lose the game.
Oh, yeah. No.
When he didn't need to do that. So I think that he has learned from that mistake, and he's definitely looked a lot better this season. And to be honest, I bet you he comes in with a chip on his shoulder.
Well, and it's funny. I think his wide receivers this year are actually better for a game like this than they were last year. They had a really good wide receiver core. It was a lot of consistent, short yardage or I should say it was a very good wide receiver core as a whole, but there wasn't really a standout guy. You have two guys now on this team that could potentially be standout guys in Emmanuel Henderson, and then Pickett. So you've got two guys that could potentially take over this game at the wide receiver position and really give Jalen Daniels some huge weapons, but I don't think K-State's ready to deal with. So I'm interested to kind of see how all that plays out.
Yeah. I'm picking Kansas, man. One of these days I'm going to be right.
Man.
I'm picking Kansas.
I'm putting all my money on K-State now.
Gosh, dang it.
Wait, but Brownie, you said that the curse has been broken this year. Right?
Yeah, the curse was broken, and then look at what happened. Iowa State started losing all those games.
Well, because you convinced me not to pick Cincinnati is what happened. You convinced me that everything would be fine. That's what ruined everything. The real question, here's the real question. You said the real question is Kansas going to be able to, is the Kansas State defense going to be able to stop Kansas? I think the real question is which of Avery Johnson's family members is going to win the post-game fight in the parking lot? That's what I think the real question.
Well, apparently his dad won the first round, so...
Round 2, fight. All right, here we go. So that's all we got for y'all today. It's been another beautiful Tuesday here on the Biggest 12. Let me get that outro music going. Shabam! All right. Thank you so much for making us a part of your Tuesday night, folks. Gentlemen, tell the fine people where they can find you.
Yeah, you guys can find me. I cover all things Jayhawks. The Rock Chalk Podcast. Just search for Rock Chalk Podcast wherever you get your podcasts. And we're on Twitter at Rock Chalk Pod.
You already know, at WRNL Brownie, both on X and on Blue Sky. You can also follow Wide Right Natty Light on Twitter or join our Discord because it's pretty hip-hopping and partying place during the actual football season. So, and Dish Fit, I'm in town for the TCU Iowa State game. And I will be in town Friday, and we're going out and partying. So
we're showing him Cowtown. We're taking him around Panther City. He's getting the full Fort Worth experience.
I'm going back to the stockyards, baby.
Stockyard, there's my backyard. Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it right. Hey, but first, y'all subscribe to the show at Big 12 VOCFB. There it is. It's been running across the bottom of the screen the whole time. You got no excuse. We're 20 people away. 20 people away from 1,000. Help me get there. All right. And subscribe to my personal YouTube channel at Clint Foster Creations. Follow me on Twitter at Clint_Foster55 and download us wherever you get your podcasts. And also, while you're at it, download that Novig app that we've told you about. Very fun time, Novig. Use the promo code VOCFB Big12, and you're going to get to take advantage of a nice opening deal there and let them know that we sent you. If you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. So until next week, hopefully we'll be talking about a Kansas victory in the Sunflower Showdown. But until then, I love you. I hope your team wins. And go Big 12. We'll see you around there, friendos.